Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there.
So, I just wanted to do a real quick video, not going to be fancy or anything like that, as primarily what we're getting across, hopefully, is just information you guys could use to have the healthiest family you could have. And that includes, obviously, your pups, if you have puppies.
It sure does. Their health is very, very important, and a lot of things that we eat, they would really benefit in their diets. And that's one thing that I didn't think of is we were talking to one of our family members, and she said, when you're juicing, go ahead and pour a little bit of juice in their food too.
Yeah, there's some things you have to be cautious with, but dogs are omnivores like us. They could eat kind of anything. Well, I shouldn't say that. You have to watch what your dog is going to be allergic to, because every dog is a unique person, and there are some things that you have to be careful with dogs, as we know, and other things that's perfectly healthy for them. So I didn't show you the prep I did, but what I want to show you is, this is about to cook. It's actually starting to heat up. So what's in there? Well, what's that orange or yellowish orange stuff just everywhere on top there? That's turmeric. So we use turmeric because turmeric is just amazing. Turmeric is anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, anti-everything bad, really. So, turmeric is a must. You could probably make out that there's purple cabbage, and you could see some orange, that's carrots in there. And then there's also sweet potatoes in there. So, we have about 6 carrots in there. I have about a third of a big head of purple cabbage in there, or red cabbage. You can see some kale poking through. There's a whole bag of kale, one of those really big bags in there. It's kind of squished down. And underneath that, we have about 5 pounds of chicken. So there's everything we buy. We buy organic. We buy free range wherever we could find it. So far it's been okay. We've been able to get things that we need so far. That might change in time, though, as we go deeper into this cycle. Then also what we have in there is basically a cup of organic. This is sprouted brown rice that comes from California. It's Planet Earth, and it's more nutritious. Some of the nutrients are 10 times more than other rice. And then we have some lentils. I got basically a cup of the brown rice, a cup of lentils, about half a dozen good-sized sweet potatoes, a whole bag of kale, again about 5 pounds of chicken in there. Seasoned basically with turmeric and pink Himalayan salt. Pink Himalayan salt's all we use. I think after you get used to pink Himalayan salt, everything else just tastes off. Even to us, even sea salt doesn't taste. It tastes too salty.
Yeah, there's just absolutely no going back for us.
And then what we got back in there is free range organic chicken broth to cook it in. So lots of nutrients. We cook it with the turmeric and with the pink Himalayan. When it's done, I'll let it cool. I'll add moringa, chlorella spirulina, which we have back in there. Turmeric's in there now, maca as well. So chlorella spirulina, moringa, and maca will all add to it after it's cooked. And then what I do is I just take the hand blender and blend it all down. And I think we get from a big pot like this for Zeke and Sassy 5 days?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe 5 days worth of food. If I had to estimate, it probably is $20 or $25 to put this together. So, it's more expensive than when you buy the store stuff. But, all of us suffered when we were in the camper and didn't have access to our usual stuff. We could have probably done it better. I know there's people that live full-time, that live super healthy and clean in campers. Yeah, we just didn't do quite as good a job as when we're situated in a whole kitchen.
Yeah, we were kind of missing running water.
Well, yeah, we had a broken water pump and we
Yeah.
had other issues going on as well. And then, of course, when we'd pull up next to something that was 30 to 40 feet long, I mean that's a house on wheels.
Yeah.
Very different than our 19 footer. So but you can do well even if you're on the road, even if you're living out of a camper full time, RVing full time. But boy, it's so much easier now to do this. And, like I said, we all did suffer health wise. We were under energetic attacks, which we know. Many people are under energetic attacks now, as we've shared. But even the dogs did. Now, Sassy is, I think, 8 going on 9. Zeke might be a year older. And, everything kind of seemed to get exacerbated. Pit bulls are inclined to get seborrhea. That's something that happens, and he's been suffering with that and itchy skin. So I thought, now's the time to get him back on homemade food. And the dogs way prefer this homemade food. They way prefer, don't you think?
Well, they definitely do. And what's interesting too is, when you're dealing with dog poo, they poo a lot less, and that's because they're bringing in a lot more nutrition.
Exactly. And even in the best grades of dog food that's available out there, we still don't know what's in there. I mean, there's still always artificial dyes, artificial this, artificial that. Well, at least I know there's nothing artificial in here. There's nothing artificial in here unless we're getting lied to as to what's in things like, organic turmeric and organic spirulina and maca and stuff, which,
Possible.
they could be lying to us there and things might not be as organic. But boy, do we notice a difference in like everything. Like Cindy was saying, there's actually not as much poop because they're actually utilizing what they're taking in. And I know Zeke is at a change of age, but he just seemed to develop in the last 6 months where we were mostly mobile and not eating as well. And he was eating, a good brand of dog food, but still it was dog food. And he's developing these skin tags and little growths that he did not have any of before. And both of them, itchy skin, dry skin, and all sorts of issues. So back to making our own food. I think it's just way, way healthier. So I just basically boiled this up like a stew. I'll let it cook for several hours. How much do I put in of each? That varies, but I would say I put in about 5 tablespoons of turmeric because again, it's a pretty big amount. I don't think it's too spicy for them. They seem to absolutely love it. Put in probably like a tablespoon of the pink Himalayan salt. As I said again, about 1 cup of brown rice, 1 cup of lentils, about a third of a big head of purple cabbage, red cabbage, very cancer fighting there, about 6 good sized organic carrots, about 6 sweet potatoes, organic as well, a whole bag of kale. And again, it's one of those really large bags that you get at the store. I'm not sure how much is in there, but it's at least a pound, probably more. And then there's 5 pounds of chicken in this as well. So, it's good. It's very, very wholesome. I'll let it cook for a couple hours. And then after it's starting to cool, I'll add in the spirulina. Again, I'll probably put like about a tablespoon and a half spirulina, also chlorella, about the same of the maca, and moringa, which they're all immune system boosters. They're all basically anti-inflammatory, help with energy, cleanse the blood. I put in basically 2 of those free-range chicken broths, and we'll add a little just plain water as the lentils and the rice soak it up. I used to make them separately in the Instapot, but now I just let it all cook together. And so, kind of bring it to a boil, then bring it down to low, let it simmer for a couple hours, then let it cool for a couple hours, blend it up, add the extras to it, and you're good to go. And then we just stick it in the fridge. And again, you wouldn't want anything to be more than maybe about 5 days out because you don't want it to go bad either. My mom used to throw things out after 2 days, just regardless. She was so paranoid about things.
Yeah, so you always want to keep that in mind too. So fresh food's a lot different. We keep it in a different container in the fridge, and the pups absolutely love it. They devour it, and Zeke is always kind of hovering over Sassy's bowl, hoping she might leave one little bite, just one.
Yes, most definitely. And another thing that we would want to do in our entirety is get away from all sorts of plastics, which we're working on. And so, went back to ordering a bunch of these, right? Mason jars. And I use mason jars for spices. I have a rack just full of spices with mason jars. So I put them in the mason jars, which are getting very pricey nowadays, very pricey. But again, we want to store things in glass as much as possible and get a good vacuum seal as much as possible. I don't trust the plastics. Cindy doesn't trust the plastics. So that's what we're working towards. I plan on ordering another 2-3 cases of mason jars at least. But they are expensive. I think the last bunch cost me $30-something. I don't know if you guys know any other sources out there that are cheaper. Every time I go into the store, they're sold out. So, please do share your comments, share what you guys are doing. I just wanted to give you a quickie on Zeke and Sassy's food.
God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste, guys.